Hey everybody, Austin here again with another Let's Play video. Today we're going to be playing some Super Mario Bros. 30 video. Today we're going to be playing some Super Mario Bros. 35 for the Nintendo Switch. Mario 35 is a 35-player Battle Royale multiplayer game. It takes the original Super Mario Bros. Formula, has you play through a bunch of different levels, sometimes repeating a lot of the same levels, with the goal of being the last man standing. So as you play through the game, as you kill enemies that you kill will get sent over to other people's games, causing havoc on their end, and you know, they might die, and as long as you're the last man standing, then you are the winner. I know that might not have made a whole lot of sense, but you'll start to understand how this works as we play a few matches here. I actually recently did a live stream of this game, but we ran into some major connection problems. Not with the game, it was on my end, and so I had to end that stream early. So I figured, you know what, let's go ahead and just do a dedicated Let's Play video of this. I'll do a couple more matches, I'll re-explain all the mechanics and things like that. As some people do prefer the Let's Play format. It's more direct, it's more focused. I'm not chatting to random people as I'm playing the game. So yeah, what we're going to do here is play a couple of matches of the 35-player battle. And actually, the special battle is also activated. These are usually active on the weekends, and so it is actually a weekend as I'm doing this. You can also practice certain courses, so if you get into a certain course in the game, like for me, 7-4 was troublesome in the beginning because I didn't remember the puzzle part of it. But you can actually go to course practice mode as you unlock your courses and get used to them. Being used to all your courses is extremely important in this game because it can, you know, make the difference between survival and not, you know, life or death basically. So yeah, this game also tracks your stats and things like that. I've actually played this game for over 40 hours now. That's actual in-game time. That's not counting sitting in the menus and stuff like that. But the game's got a whole lot of other stats it tracks. You know, first place wins, all-time coins collected, all-time knockouts, coins collected via knockouts, all-time jumps. It even tracks how much you jump. It's pretty crazy. It's definitely a it's definitely a dream for people that are into stats and stuff like that in their games. You know, it tracks every enemy that you've killed, even down to the fireballs from Bowser's castles, and it also shows your recent results and whatnot. So pretty cool stuff here. It's really fun to go through and look at that. On the left hand side here, you'll notice that there's a big card with your name. You can press X to switch between different icons. As you level up in the game, you will unlock different icons that you can use that other players will see. I believe the star was actually the last one I unlocked, and it looks like I have 2 more to unlock, and so I'm going to go ahead and just leave it at that. But yeah, lots of cool stuff there. As you collect coins in this game, those are actually added to basically an experience meter. So you can see 150,774 coins. That's basically my experience. So if you win, you'll get this pot of coins cashed out to you, and that'll apply to your experience bar there. So I'm actually at a level 150 right now. The star next to my level indicates that I've gotten to level 100. I've seen players as of doing this video with 2 stars, so they're at level 200 something. And as you level up, you get new icons and stuff like that. There's also a nice little fun perk where if you get to level 100, and if you hold L as you start your game, you'll actually be able to play as Luigi. Same physics as Mario, just like with the first Super Mario Bros. You know, Luigi and Mario were just palette swapped in that original game. But it's fun just playing with Luigi's costume because, you know, not many people do it. Not many people know about it. So, but yeah, you do have options here. You've got control settings, and I've got it set to the D-pad. You can actually set it to the analog stick if you want. And I have buttons Y and B to run and jump like it's, say, Super Mario World on Super Nintendo or something like that. A little more natural with the button layout of, you know, your various Switch controllers. And, yeah, so let's go ahead and do a 35-player battle. And I'll just explain how things work. So you basically, when you start, you pick a map that you would like to see drawn in the match that you're about to play. This is what happens for everyone. Everyone picks one map, and how I think it works is all the maps are just tossed into like a map pool, and you know, they'll just be cycled through as you play through the game. So I might start on 1-1, but then 4-1 might pop up, or 6-1, or 5-2, or something like that, depending on how many people have picked them and you know, how far they are in the queue. That's at least how I think it works. Now on the right hand side, you can press X to cycle through different power-ups. These actually use coins. So again, your coins down below, that's basically your experience. So if you want to level up, you know, these are going to eat into your coin count. what I usually do is I start with the Fire Flower just to get a head start, because again, in this game, as you kill enemies, those enemies get sent to other people's playfields. And so what I like to do is just try to kill as many enemies as fast as possible. That makes things more chaotic for other players, and other players end up dropping out much faster because there's a lot more for them to deal with. But for this first match, I'm just going to do regular Mario, and if I hit the Y button, it'll say surprise me. It'll basically just pick a map at random for me. Now, that map grid, what happens with that is when you first start this game for the first time, you're only going to have levels 1-1, I think. And then as you play other levels, as you get to other levels in the game, those will unlock on that map grid for you. And then you can actually choose that level, or choose a particular level that you want for your draw on the map draw here. So, it looks like we've got 35 players, and on the left and right hand sides of the screen, you can actually see what all the other players are doing. And yeah, so you are timed in this game, and when you first start, you don't have a whole lot of time to work with. So you'll notice I've only got about 30 seconds now, and 3 coins. So basically, the goal again is to be the last man standing, and you know, ways to die in this are to fall down pits or run into enemies when you're small Mario, and then run out of time. When you're pretty decent at this game, a way of losing is a lot of times going to be running out of time. And so in the beginning here, you don't want to dilly-daddle too much. You want to know exactly what you're supposed to do. And for me, it's about getting coins. It's about getting my you know, my power mushroom or my fire flower, and basically just staying as Big Mario or Luigi, whoever I'm playing as, and to survive in the early parts of the game. So, you know, survival in this game is highly dependent on your knowledge of the levels, and how well you are with not taking hits, and obviously not running into enemies when you're small Mario. Also, you know, being good with, you know, all your jumps, all your pits, all your stuff like that. Knowing where some of the hidden blocks are for extra upgrades. On the top left portion of the screen, you'll notice that I do have coins, and coins are very, very important in this because they allow you to use your mystery boxes. And I can press X to do that, just like so, and it'll give me 1 of 4 awards. It looks like I just got a POW block there. And the POW block, or POW block, just like in the original Mario Bros. Arcade game, destroys everything on screen. And if I have a Fire Flower already and I pick one up, it'll give me 15 seconds on the clock, so that's another way to boost my time. Now, this game's physics are, you know, fairly faithful to the original Super Mario Bros., but there have been some changes made as well that will take some time to get used to. For instance, kind of like in Mario 3, you can actually high jump off enemies now by just holding down the jump button. So there are some, you know, modifications made to the physics, but general movement and whatnot actually feels pretty good. It feels quite faithful to the original game. There's not as much, I don't know how to say it. When you you know, bump into, you know, blocks up ahead or above you, you don't get pushed down quite as quickly as you do in the original Super Mario Bros. Also, the screen doesn't scroll quite as quickly as the original Super Mario Bros. As well. I actually went and played the original game right after playing this, back to back, just to see what the differences are. And there are definitely some differences, but it feels much more faithful to the original Super Mario Bros. Than, say, the Mario Maker classic Super Mario Bros. Does. So for those of you guys that are familiar with Mario Maker and how it feels, that feels very different from this. This is much closer to the original Super Mario Bros. Physics-wise than Mario Maker is. Could be the same engine, they might have just heavily modified it, but it does feel still a lot like the original NES game, which was, I think, part of the point when they made this game. So, again, basically all I'm doing here is trying to just take my time. Slow and steady is kind of the way to go in the beginning parts of the game, the beginning parts of these matches, and so I'm doing just that. I'm just taking things slow and steady. And for those of you guys new to this, what you'll notice is that we're not going through these levels one by one. We're not going from 1-1 to 1-2 and then 1-3. Sometimes it happens to work that way, but it's just kind of, it seems random. So just because I'm at 1-2 right now doesn't mean that I'm going to end up at 1-3 on the next level, or that the warp zone is even going to take me to the levels that they normally do in the original Super Mario Bros. Again, you're just constantly fed levels until the match ends, And the goal is just to kill enemies, send enemies to other people's games, to hopefully screw them up. Like, look at all these piranha plants that are just out in the open. These obviously aren't normally supposed to be here, but that's because other players have killed piranha plants and they just happen to spawn in my game. Now, in the top center of the screen, you'll notice that you know, you've got a couple of selections there. You've got random, lowest time, most coins, attackers. Basically what this is how you're targeting enemies. And so I just usually like to leave it on random. And so as I kill enemies, you know, they will appear on just random player screens, as opposed to just targeting a single player. I like to do that because it seems to keep things the most chaotic and the most busy. If I'm just targeting, say, the guy with the most coins, I'm only sending enemies to one person's playfield. I'm not sending enemies to multiple people's playfield. Same with lowest time. The guy that has the lowest time, I'm just going to be targeting him, and I'd rather target a bunch of different players at once and have a spread of enemies go, you know, to other people's games. And, so yeah, we're just continuing on, just taking my time. You know, as you kill enemies, you also get time bonuses, and the power stars are extremely good for that, because as you sort of cut through multiple enemies at once, you'll get extra time multiplier bonuses. So it'll go from being, you know, getting 2 seconds back per enemy kill to 3 seconds to 4 seconds and up, depending on, you know, how long of a combo streak you get with that power star. And that's going to be a crucial mechanic as we get farther into the match. As you get into the matches, or the longer you get into these matches, the faster your time starts to tick down. And so that power star bonus time multiplier is going to be extremely important. Now, I actually missed the power star just previously, because I just kind of zoned out there. But knowing where your power stars are in the levels are very important. And knowing where your upgrades are very important as well. So, like, for instance, there's actually a fire flower right here. Or it would just be a super mushroom if, you know, if I was small Mario. Now, the awards that you can get from your mystery blocks by pressing X, again, it uses 20 coins. You can get a POW block, which we saw earlier, or we can get a mushroom, or we can get a fire flower, or we can get a power star. And so those are the 4 different things you can get. And what's going to happen is, as we get closer to the end of this match, our timer is going to start ticking down much faster. And the playfields are going to start getting a lot more cluttered with enemies, most likely. As it gets down to just me and just a couple of other people. And at that point in the match, I'll start using my mystery blocks much more often. And you guys will see what I mean once we do that. And so this is one of our water levels. This is 2-2. And so even the bloopers that we kill, they get sent to other people's games. And so, you know, being on your feet, playing on your toes in this game is very, very important, because you'll be wandering through a level and then just randomly a blooper is going to just appear out of nowhere, which is especially awkward when you're above water. So, you know, I just sent a cheap over to someone else's game, and they operate just like they do in the bridge levels, where they just fly up from the bottom of the screen. You know, that'll also catch you off guard like crazy if you're not paying attention. And so, while you're not really seeing a whole lot going on my game, I'm actually sending a lot of enemies to other people's games, and so they're probably getting tripped up by that. And so we're back on 1-1 again. I have heard complaints that you do play 1-1 too much, and I do understand where people are coming from with that. But the nice thing about 1-1 is that it is kind of a relief, because for one, you get three upgrades. So, you know, you should always be able to come out of this level with at least Big Mario or a Fire Flower. So this would be our second upgrade right here. The third one is on the top of these question mark blocks to the right there. You also get a bunch of coins, so I've always got this coin block right here. I always cash out. And then I get the star as well. So I'm cutting through a bunch of different enemies now, getting time bonuses. I'm sending enemies to other people's games. So while it does get a little repetitive playing this level over and over again, it is a bit of a reprieve, because you get those guaranteed upgrades, and you always get that star as well, which is going to come in handy towards the end of the match, where the timer is just ticking down like crazy. So, you know, if I can get a star and have a whole chain of enemies to just rip right through, that you know, can be major time bonuses. Another way to get a good time bonus is to use a shell into enemies, and you'll get big combo bonuses for that. So that's also going to come in handy later on in the match when my timer is ticking down. Remember, it's all about surviving, and you know, there are going to be certain strategies that we're going to have to use later on to survive, including, you know, comboing shells into enemies or getting long chains of enemies while using the star. So then on the top right hand portion of the screen, you can actually see that we're down to 6 players, and I'm going to actually take World 3-4 because the reason for that is this match is going kind of slow, and I'd like to get, you know, more dangerous enemies appearing on other people's games. For instance, Bowser. So we are going to hopefully beat this level and then send Bowser to someone's game. And I do want to play relatively safe here. Bowser does shoot his fire, just like he does in the original Super Mario Brothers. And we also have to be careful about what we run into when we're in the air, because just like the original Super Mario Brothers, you know, if you jump in the air and you take a hit, you're going to lose all momentum. And so you don't want to be over a pit when you lose that momentum. I've actually lost many times in this game simply because I've rushed too quickly on, say, Bowser's, you know, castle levels, and you know, I'd get hit by a fireball mid-air and then not be able to finish the jump because I lost all my momentum. And you'll notice that I'm not, like, constantly mashing the, you know, the fire flower button. What I like to do is I like to taper my attacks. I like to shoot one or, you know, like one at a time. Just keep it nice and steady. And then I've got a fire flower shot that I can use, you know, as I get closer to other enemies. It probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but basically you don't want to just be mashing your fire flower button because, you know, you can only have 2 projectiles on screen at once. So you want to make sure that you've got at least one shot, you know, as a backup. So it's all about, you know, like, skillful use of the fire flower in this game, and which comes in handy on levels like this in particular, where you want to be sending those cheeps over to other enemies or other players. So yes, these are actually called cheeps. The original Super Mario Brothers has some crazy enemy names, and yeah, that is what the little jumping fish are called. So I didn't mind taking a hit there. It wasn't really a big deal because there was that other box that was just, you know, right past that. Let's see if we can actually hit some of these guys. I'm not actually doing a very good job of hitting them. But they are tricky enemies. They're actually some of the tougher enemies to deal with because they're so random and chaotic. Like, where they come up from down below just seems to be totally random. And so that's why I like going to this level. It's harder for me, but it's one of those levels where, you know, it's a great opportunity to just send enemies to other people's games. And so this level's not really all that great to be at without a fire flower, and I just actually kind of messed up here, and so I'm just going to end up getting a mushroom, and that's it. But this is a Buzzy Beetle, and the Buzzy Beetles are pretty good to run into because, you know, a lot of players, they rely on the fire flower, and Buzzy Beetles can't be hurt by the fire flower. And so, you know, a player will be running through a level really quickly, just, you know, blasting enemies with fire, and then a Buzzy Beetle will just come out of nowhere and it'll screw them up. And that's what's really fun about this. I mean, look at all these Goombas, all these extra enemies. I'm just taking my time here for one. But when you first play this game, it's really exhilarating just seeing all these, you know, odd enemy types that aren't supposed to be there in a level, you know, as you're playing through. Like, you know, I've seen Hammer Brothers and Bowser's, you know, appear on the steps at the end of a level. And those are always kind of scary when you're, say, Small Mario, or you don't have many coins to use. You know, like, I could be using my mystery boxes right now, but again, my time is still, you know, still relatively decent. And as long as I combo enemies, I can build that back up, and, you know, it's not too crazy right now. We've got 5 players left, and so my timer's not ticking down that fast. I'm still going to go ahead and just take my time. But look at this. This is going to be actually really good for a, either a shell chain or, you know, the star. So what I'm going to do is let's actually do the shell chain, see if we can get that. 3, boom, got him, and that was a little bit. We got some time back, not a ton of time, but it's okay. We've got, you know, this star, so we'll go ahead and just milk these enemies and get all those time bonuses. And kill as many enemies as possible, because they all get sent to other people's games. And it makes their lives much more difficult. Now, you can actually sort of get an idea of, you know, a player's coin count by looking at the coins on the top of their little mini screens. So this guy on the far left, I saw that his coin, his 5th coin, isn't quite there yet. I think each coin displayed there basically stands for 20 coins. So, you know, 1 mystery box use. And, so one thing I'll do sometimes is I'll try to target the guys that don't have full coins listed there, because I know that they're running out of their mystery boxes. And there's a Bowser, finally got some action going here. There's also these Lakitus. Lakitus are probably the most dangerous enemies in the game, and they can actually lead into Lakitu swarms. As you know, I kill Lakitus, and then other people kill Lakitus, and we just start sending them back and forth between the, you know, the different players' games. And I'm still not going to use my mystery box, although I'm probably gonna have to now. Let's go ahead and just switch over to Small Mario, and then do that. I'll go ahead and use a box right here, though. Now, my timer is actually has actually turned red. And so what happens when it turns red is, you know, it starts ticking down a lot faster. And so this is where I really want my my time bonuses from the star. And how fast your time ticks down, it depends on how long the match has been going on. So when I'm in the red like this, I don't bother, you know, grinding out for coins anymore. For me, it's just about getting to the end of the level now and getting those time bonuses so I can survive. And if you hit the top of a flagpole, you get 15 seconds. And this is actually a really bad level when it comes to getting my time back. There's just not much going on here. And it looks like I just knocked out an opponent. So you notice there's that 1 KO box on the left that is orange. That means someone died to one of my enemies that I sent over to them. And, but yeah, these levels, I basically just try to run through them. The treetop levels, they're not my favorites. And I'm gonna go ahead and use my box as well. See if we can get a star. Well, we got a POW block, that's fine. The POW blocks will give you, you know, time multipliers as well. And we're close to maximum time, which is nice. But I still need to get through this level relatively quickly. Yeah, so the Wonder level is actually pretty good for getting, like, cheeps sent over to other people's games, as well as getting bloopers sent out. But, it's not great for, you know, building time. Not great at all for that, unfortunately. So we have 4 players left, and there's a guy there on the bottom who is, you know, he doesn't have any coins left. So what I'm going to do is actually try to send enemies his way. And this is actually a really good section to get combo multipliers, but I kind of messed up with the first Koopa Troopa. And there's a cheap, see what I mean? It just came out of nowhere. Yeah, those can really catch you off guard. And it looks like there are a couple of more coming as well. And there's a star right here. Always got to know where those star boxes are. And again, it's all about those time bonuses for me, but, you know, these guys aren't really sending enemies my way. So it's actually becoming a little difficult for me to keep my time built up. And this is the level that actually the game picked for me, and this is not a great level. Again, not great for building your time, so I just like to try to rush through these as quickly as possible. So you can jump here, and then jump here again, and then you can, boom, just jump like that, and then this is the exit. You notice my time is just ticking down really, really fast. I'm going to switch it back over to random, and, okay, it looks like one of those guys got knocked out, so I'm going to go ahead and use my mystery box. And there's a POW block that I just got. Oh, and it looks like I won. I don't know what that guy did, but he got knocked out for some reason. So if you get knocked out early and there are still players going, you can go into spectate mode, which is really fun. You can actually learn a bunch of new things by watching other people play. Or you can, you know, sort of mock them because they're playing very sloppy. Whoa, 3,400 coins from that. That might have been one of my largest ones I got from a win. So yeah, this is the daily challenges thing right here. You have different goals that you can meet. These reset at midnight every day, so if you're the kind of person that wants to come back and try to maximize your coins, you know, you can play a few matches and knock some of these out. So I stomped 30 enemies in a 35-player battle, and I used a shell to defeat 3 enemies in a row in 35-player battle. And then rank in the top 15 2 times in 35-player battle. So that was one, and we'll do another one. Ooh, I went from 50 to 52. Very nice. So yeah, let's go ahead and just do a rematch. We'll do another one. So if you play to the very end of a match or close to it, it's usually going to take you about 20 minutes. The matches will last about 20 minutes. I don't know if I've had any go on longer than that, but around the 15-minute mark is when your timer starts to tick down much faster. And then as you get closer to 20 minutes or so, the timer starts ticking down even faster. And you know, I've had matches where the timer is ticking down so fast that, you know, I was ending my matches with like 2 or 3, 4 seconds on the clock, which is pretty crazy. So, and again, when I start these matches, I like to just leave it on random, and actually what I meant to do is also, I meant to switch over to the Fire Flower to start here, but it's not really a big deal. So, the Fire Flower just lets me kind of rip through these first few enemies much faster. I can send enemies over to other people's games much quicker. But there we go, we got the Fire Flower. It doesn't set you back that much if you don't use the Fire Flower right away. And again, in the early part of the match, it's all about building my coins. It's about, you know, killing enemies. It's about, you know, building my resources, my coins, and my timer early on. That way I can, you know, have more flexibility near the end of the match, assuming I don't die, like falling down a pit or something like that, which does happen. One of the things about this game is that you're probably more likely to lose because you made a dumb mistake. Like I almost slipped off the edge right there because I wasn't really paying attention. I was looking at the enemies, but not the platform. But yeah, it's just about building your resources in the beginning, which is what Battle Royale games are normally like, you know, the modern kinds in particular. It's about building those resources, but also, you know, staying alive, not falling down pits, things like that. Now, a lot of the secrets from the original Super Mario Brothers are here, like your extra life blocks, which is another reason why coming to 1-1 is good, because you can always get that free extra life block, which gives you 20 coins instantly. And you can still go down pipes to, you know, go to your underground areas for bonus coins. You can also find your vines, which will take you up into the sky for, again, bonus rounds. I don't mess around with those at all, typically. Once in a blue moon, I might take a pipe underground because maybe I'm desperate for some coins because it's that point in a match. But mostly, I just stay above ground. That's, I think, the best strategy. If you're underground, you know, in a pipe bonus area, or if you're in the sky, you know, in one of the cloud bonus areas, you're not sending enemies to other people's playfields, and you're not gaining time bonuses because you're not killing enemies. So it's why I don't actually go to the bonus areas very often, unless, again, I'm just desperate. Or maybe there's a ton of enemies someone has sent my way, and I don't want to deal with them at the moment. I can take a pipe and then just warp ahead to later on in the level. So, like, one of the first pipes here on 1-1 will send you towards the end of the map. And if you know that someone's sending a lot of dangerous enemies your way, it is a way to bypass them. But generally, you're better off killing the enemies they send your way than not, because if you're not killing those enemies, then they're not getting sent over to other people's games, and those other people are going to have an easier time. And the idea is to make life a living hell for your other players. You know, the busier the levels are, the more chaotic they become, the more likely people are going to get knocked out. So you need to be killing those enemies. So I try to kill almost everything I see, even the piranha plants. You'd be surprised where piranha plants can appear. I mean, even on that first match we played today, there was that part where that piranha plant completely blocked my way, and I had to take damage if I wanted to get past it without using one of my boxes. So now we've got Hammer Brothers. We're actually sending Hammer Brothers to other people's games now, and that's where things can start to get really hectic, because Hammer Brothers are very hectic enemies. And they can appear in some really interesting, you know, locations too. I've had them appear at the top of this block, and trying to kill them with the Fire Flower is easier said than done. And yeah, it's all about, you know, making difficult situations for your other opponents. And with 1-1, you can sort of get into a groove with that first pattern there. As long as you don't have a lot of different enemies sent your way on that part, you can just hold down the jump button and just run off those pipes, and then just, you know, fly into the air over those other pipes. So again, just grinding out coins. We've got 233 coins, which gives us over 10 uses of our mystery boxes. So again, it's about grinding out coins, building my resources so I can use as many of those boxes towards the end of a match as possible. And man, people seem to love this map. I don't know why so many people are picking this map, but you know, the treetop levels are definitely not my favorites. They have the least amount of enemies normally. They're probably some of the most dangerous levels from a platforming standpoint. So many jumps, you know, one quick little mistake and you know, you can fall to your death. And look, we're back at 1-1 again, with even more enemies. Again, this is one of the issues with the game. I don't know if it's really so much an issue with the game itself, so much as it is, I think it's just a lot of newer players getting into the game. And they don't have anything else other than 1-1 to choose from in the beginning. And so we end up playing 1-1 a lot. But also, a lot of people are really comfortable with 1-1. And so what ends up happening is, I think a lot of people end up picking the level anyway, just because it's easy for them to go through. And again, those, you know, those pretty much guaranteed upgrades, as long as you're playing well. Oops. And that is not me playing well right there, but I will take this star, and I'll take my time. I'll go ahead and get this, this mushroom right here. Not a big deal. And then we'll get some time bonuses. Well, we don't really need time bonuses, but I will go ahead and, you know, kill as many enemies as possible. Go ahead and shoot that over there, just like so. And I'm just taking my time. Again, slow and steady is what gets you, or is what gets you the win in this game. It's not so much about speed running. And this is a level I picked, actually. This is 4-1. And I really like 4-1 because you get the Lakitus. And the Lakitus, that's how things just become insanely chaotic in this game. And so I do want this fire flower before I start running. So, I was gonna say, it's not so much about speedrunning in this game as it is playing slow and steady, but being able to speedrun is very, very helpful in certain situations, especially later on in the game, where, you know, your timer is in the red, and it's just very difficult to, you know, you can't really play slow and steady when your timer is ticking down at 20 seconds every real-world second. It really starts counting down that fast. And so now I'm going to start using my mystery boxes because, you know, I don't have a fire flower and I would definitely like to get one again. So let's go ahead and just knock that shell into there and go ahead and just slowly stomp these Goombas. My timer's not in the red yet, so, you know, I can go ahead and continue to grind out for coins and things like that. But there's a Hammer Brother in a somewhat inconvenient location. But looks like we just got both of them, and another one. So it looks like we're going to actually start seeing these guys a lot more often, because a bunch of people have sent them over to my game. Yeah, that's the third Hammer Brother in a row. So it's also important in understanding how enemy behavior works in this game. So if you're not that familiar with Super Mario Brothers, the green turtle shells, or Koopa Troopas as they call them, they'll fall off ledges, whereas the red ones will not. So you have to be able to keep an eye out on those enemies. Spinies are a lot like the green Koopa Troopas, where they'll fall off ledges as well. Same with the Buzzy Beetles. But the Buzzy Beetles, they move a little bit faster, and the Buzzy Beetles cannot be killed with fire. So you have to actually stomp on them or knock them over with another shell. And just taking my time now. We've got a lot of enemies on my screen, which is nice. Which means I'm going to be able to send a lot of enemies to other people's games. So go ahead and grab this star, and then just make a beeline for the exit. And there we go. Alright, so we're on 2-1. What I'm going to do is just drop down here and go ahead and get this extra life, because again, extra lives is 20 coins instantly. And that's going to put me at 491. And I can try to combo these guys. I'm going to wait for this piranha plant. You notice that my time is ticking down a little bit faster, so your time will start to tick down quicker before it even turns red. But when it's in the red, that's when it's starting to tick down the fastest. So you do have to watch out for it going into the red. So in this part, I like to just kind of blitz through that. I don't like to just wait. And let's go ahead and grab these coins as well. Now these coin blocks there, where you can get multiple coins back to back, you can get up to 15 or so, depending on how fast you, you knock into those boxes. Oops, didn't mean to do that, but that's my fault. And I didn't mean to hit the triggers either. You have to hit the triggers to change your target. But again, I like to leave it on random because it just disperses enemies a little more evenly, throughout people's games. Which means other players are more constantly having to deal with groups of enemies. And then there's a greater chance that more enemies are going to be sent back my way. Oh man, I keep making a bunch of mistakes here. But that's okay. Let's go ahead and just use this shell, get some time bonuses, get an extra life, and we're just going to take our time right here. And we'll go ahead and hit that guy just like that. Get the fire flower. And timer is not in the red, so I'm going to go ahead and grind out these coins. I've got a lot of coins right now, which means that I've got a lot of mystery boxes I can use when it comes down to it. And there's a Lakitu, just like right there. So when the Lakitus start coming out, that's when things can start to get real crazy. Because they'll start to appear in levels that you're not comfortable with them appearing in. But then, like, one Lakitu will turn into 2, and then 2 will turn into 4, and before you know it, you've got 10 or 15 all throwing spinies at you at the exact same time. And it gets very, very hectic. It's why I like to pick level 1, not 1-4, but 4-1 as my pick, because I can get those Lakitus going and I can start to overwhelm players. Once you get big Lakitu swarms going, you start hearing knockouts left and right. It gets pretty crazy. So there's another Lakitu. I just knocked him back to someone else's game. Might as well go ahead and take these coins, because my timer is still not in the red. Now, if you look on that bar on the bottom of the screen, it tells you what enemies are popping up. Both normal enemies that are supposed to be there at all times, as well as enemies that have spawned into your game from other players. So it's actually a really good idea to take a look at that bottom bar, especially as you go into a new level. What I've noticed this game does is it has a tendency of like storing up enemies for you, and then it'll just, once you're, closer to the beginning of a level, it will, start dropping them all back to back. So you'll have long streaks of enemies to deal with. So we're back down to 3 players. It's just myself and 2 other guys. And so let's go ahead and just keep working at this. Just grind out. A lot of times what I'll do here is I'll just take my time and I'll try to kill every single enemy just to maximize the amount of enemies that are going to other people's games. Just like so. Now, we've played level 1-1 a lot, and, one of the issues I have with doing level 1-1 so much is that it's not all that exciting. You don't have a lot of dangerous enemies to throw other people's ways, which is why I like maps like not 1-4. I'm so dyslexic right now. 4-1, like we've got right here, because again, I can get those Lakitus going. And looks like there's a Hammer Brother that someone sent my way, so he's going to be popping up here, and there's another Lakitu, combined with one that is normally there. And there's a Hammer Brother. So this is actually kind of a tough situation, having that Hammer Brother there. Another trick you can do with the Lakitus is, by standing on top of the pipe, you can actually jump up and hit them. Just like that. It's tricky. You gotta get the timing just right, otherwise you're gonna end up taking a hit from that Lakitu. But that's my trick for destroying them and sending them to other people's games. And one thing I do sometimes is I try to push the screen over just slowly if I think another Lakitu is going to appear. That way I can get up top and then attack them before I push the screen forward. So now we've got 2 Lakitus at once. And I can change that. So this is the end of the level, so I just kind of want to take my time here. And I use the bounce of the fireball to bounce it into the Lakitu. Alright, so this is 4-4. This is one of our puzzle castles. So to do this one, you have to take the top route. And then you take just this part right here. And this is our second half. So we come down here, and then we just work our way to the right. 7-4 is a little more complex in terms of its puzzle layout. And I'm still taking my time here. And what I could have done is actually just jumped over Bowser, but sometimes I'll just, you know, shoot him in the face with my fireballs. Alright, so this part, we're going to want to go ahead and grab the star right here. And it looks like we're going to be able to combo into a bunch of enemies. Oops, I messed that up big time. That's not good. So what I like to do is I like to run and then duck and then slide under that gap. I'm going to go ahead and just skip the extra life, because what I care about more now is my time bonuses. So my timer is in the red, and it's starting to tick down a little bit faster. And whenever I'm on, you know, 1-2, I always like to take the warp zones, because I like to have choice in where I'm going next. And that's a nice little trick right there. When you first start this level, is jumping up and hitting that Lakitu with the fireball. You basically bounce the fireball off of the top coin block, and if you do it just right, it'll actually bounce right into that Lakitu and destroy it. Oops, that's not good. Let's go ahead and use our box. If you mash the X button fast, you can actually use the box early, a lot like, say, Mario Kart. And I got a star, which is actually really handy right now. Let's go ahead and wait for these guys to come over here, and there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this. So it's just me and one more guy, and then that's it. So it's gonna probably come down to the wire here. Looks like he's probably got maximum coins. He just sent 3 Lakitus my way. Let's go ahead and try to use a star. Hopefully we'll get a star. Nope, that was a mushroom. Now the mushroom, since we're already Big Mario, will give us 15 seconds on the clock. Now because, again, like I said earlier, this is not a very good level for building time and things like that. You know, swimming through this water is relatively slow. But if I see some Lakitus, I definitely want to send them back over. And you can see how he actually went underground, which honestly I don't think is the most wise thing to do, because he can't attack any enemies. He can't send any enemies my way. Now, that might be an intentional strategy at this point in the game, because when I start running low on time, it's harder for me to get time back if I've got no enemies to kill. So that could be a valid strategy. Let's go ahead and use my box. Got another mushroom, which I'd rather have the star so I can get time back. Still have 200 seconds. And I don't really care about taking a hit as long as I can, you know, stay big so I can get this star. And this is actually not a good situation to be in. Stupid blooper. Okay. Yeah, I just kind of screwed myself there. This is actually kind of bad. Ooh, and looks like I still won. He must have ran out of time. So I thought I was going to lose because my timer was ticking down so fast. You notice there at the very end, it was just ridiculously fast. And, we still made it though. Still got a first place win. 2 first place wins in a row. And since we ranked in the top 15 2 times in 35 player battle mode, we got an extra 200 coins. And then we just leveled up again. So let's go back to our main menu here. And unfortunately, you haven't really been able to see, you know, some crazy Lakitu swarms. But we'll go ahead and do a special battle since it's open. It says, what is a special battle? It's a limited time event where you play a set order of courses. The structure is like a regular 35 player battle, but with added special conditions, such as starting with 100 coins. So let's go ahead and do that. And we don't have a choice of how we start, if we're Big Mario or Small Mario or whatever. So we'll see what the conditions are once we drop in. But on these ones, it's just like, you know, the other 35 player battles, where it's about grinding out on coins, so you have as many mystery boxes that you can use at the end of a match, as well as boosting your time to as high as it can go, and hopefully keeping it there. That way, when time starts ticking down the fastest later on, you've got, you know, the most amount of time to work with. So yeah, it looks like everyone's starting with 50 coins, and they're starting with, you know, Fire Flower Mario. And so it's pretty much just business as usual from here on out. And so same thing as before. I'm going to try to send as many enemies to other people's games as possible. And grind out on coins. So I'm going to go ahead and just take my time here. Just hit these coin boxes. And go ahead and get this star up here. Gotta know where the stars are. And just destroy everything I see. Now there is a bonus vine up top there that I could have used, but like I said, I don't typically do that when I play this. I much prefer to stay, you know, in the main areas themselves, so I can kill enemies and then send enemies to other people's games. And I can use this as a time bonus if I wanted to, just like that. So if you're new to Super Mario Brothers, there's actually a hidden box right here you can jump on. But if you bust open these blocks, you do have to take the spring, just like so. And whenever you hit a flagpole, you'll notice that any enemy on the screen will disappear. You'll get time bonuses for it, and those enemies will be sent to other people's games. Now the flagpoles, if you grab them more towards the middle, you'll get about 10 seconds added to your clock. And if you hit them more towards the bottom, you'll get anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds added back to your clock. So especially, you know, later on in the game when you're trying to keep your timer up as high as possible, it's very good to try to hit the top of the flagpole, but there are other points where I don't really care that much, and I'll just go ahead and grab, you know, the middle or bottom of the flagpole, because I don't really need, you know, the extra 5 seconds or whatever. And it looks like I just knocked someone out. I probably knocked him out with a Bowser, because right after I destroyed Bowser, I heard someone get knocked out, so that was pretty funny. Let's go ahead and, you know, just take our time here. Looks like we got some Hammer Brothers our way as well. Level 3-1 is a good level for trying to get enemies like Hammer Brothers into other people's games. Because, you know, they're here just, you know, just to the right a little bit. But before you go take on the Hammer Brothers, you always want to grab this star right here. And then you can rush through and destroy the Hammer Brothers in safety. And I like to just ignore the spring and just take that top part and just run and jump over. It's a lot faster. And I'm gonna go ahead and grab that. Extra 15 seconds on my clock. And again, more coins right here. And look at that, there's a fireball from one of the Bowser Castle levels. Only way to kill those is with a power star. And I thought I saw Bowser appear on the bottom. Yeah, he's gonna show up here now. So there he is. This is kind of inconvenience, but that's fine. We got it. So for those of you guys that aren't very comfortable with fighting Bowser, you can tell when he's going to shoot his fireballs when he closes his mouth. When he closes his mouth, he's basically getting ready to spit out a fireball. His mouth always hangs open wide, but once it closes, that's when he's going to be doing his attack. Oops, took a hit. Not a big deal, though. The Koopa shells will actually kill Bowser in one hit, which is kind of nice. And let's go ahead and just use our iframes just to get through here. Invincibility frames. And now let's go ahead and use a box. We're going to need to. Now unfortunately there's a Hammer Brother there and I don't have a Fire Flower. But that was actually pretty good. Alright, let me just try to jump over these guys. So that was pretty dangerous right there, but I managed to get through it. These guys will chase you, but there was a big pit, so I don't think they would have made it over that pit. But the Hammer Brothers in particular, they'll turn around and they'll start chasing you really fast. That doesn't actually happen in the original Super Mario Brothers. Like, they'll just turn around and just sort of stay in place still. But in this game, they'll actually, you know, chase you down really quickly, so it's kind of interesting. Alright, so we're back in good shape. You know, I did have to use a box or two, unfortunately, but, you know, we still got plenty of coins. Looks like we can still use it about 9 times. And again, so my goal is going to be to, you know, just continue building those coins. But you can kind of see how things are starting to get a little wacky here. And there's a POW block. Again, I'm ending up having to use these coin boxes, and I don't want to be using them. Or my mystery boxes. But it's also why I'm not like, you know, I don't have a fire flower. I could really use a fire flower right now, but I'm still gonna just take my time. I'm not gonna use the boxes unless I absolutely have to. Like right here, I'm gonna end. Oh my god, that was so lucky. Oh, that was so lucky. I was gonna say I was gonna just go ahead and take a hit and use my invincibility frames. But, you know, the Koopa Shell ended up, you know, working out for me. I'm gonna go ahead and just get rid of this Bowser, because he's the most dangerous thing right now. And then try to get rid of this Lakitu, send that to someone else's game. Get rid of that Hammer Brother first. Got that Bowser. That's a lot of Bowsers being sent my way. That's pretty crazy, actually. Now I really need to take my time because, you know, this is pretty dangerous. And I gotta build these coins back up, too, because I'm only at 150. Now 173. Always gotta watch out for the Spinies being dropped by the Lakitus. Got some more coins, and there's Bowser. Bowser is really easy to hit from a 45-degree angle. Oops, I did not mean to go down that. I actually pressed down by accident. That was my fault. There we go. Trying to just slide under there to get these coins. And sometimes what you can do is kind of squeeze through here. Now, if you stay in one screen for too long, your timer will actually start ticking down much faster. An exclamation box will pop up, which is what happened in that bonus room. Looks like I got another knockout. 2 knockouts. And you can see Lakitu's on the left-hand guy's screen, and he's just constantly using his boxes. I think he just used like 3 boxes in a row. And yeah, here we go. Here's some Lakitu swarms happening. And again, this is going to be easier said than done to get through. Now, thankfully, when you're small Mario, if you see a fire flower appear, you'll actually automatically switch to fire flower Mario, even if you were small Mario, which is cool. If you need some extra distance or extra height to work with, you can actually duck and jump as Mario. And that's actually what saved me there. And there's another Spiny. Again, I'm trying to save my coins. Let's go ahead and use them. Alright, so this works. Not really what I wanted to do. I would have preferred, you know, switching over to Fire Flower Mario or something like that. But there we go. There's Big Mario. And we'll go ahead and, oops, I was gonna say, you know, knock those shells into each other. Alright, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and use this. There we go, that actually works out. I'll take that star. Mainly because I need time bonuses now. And here's another star right here. Just like so. Oh, and I missed it. That was my fault. I was gonna try to grab it, you know, right as it, you know, neared that edge of the pit, but I failed. I probably shouldn't take these coins because my timer is in the red, which means it's ticking down faster. So I had to be careful about that. But I will grab that Fire Flower, give me a 15-second point boost, or time boost. Now, we have been playing a lot of early levels in the game, and it's... Oh my god, no! No, 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 no! Why? And that's what I'm talking about. One little tiny mistake like that, and you're done. You're done! You know, you make one little slip up, and that's it. So we got... I guess we got second place? Yeah. And only 264 coins. So only the first place winner gets that pot. And so that was just a really bad way to go. And that's exactly what I was talking about. Now, I was actually, before I died there, I was going to start ranting about how we've just been playing a lot of early levels, and that does get kind of repetitious, especially when I'm showing off the game like this in a Let's Play format. I would love to be able to show more levels and more crazy scenarios, but this is just what happens sometimes with Mario 35. You know, you just end up playing some of the same levels over and over again, and it's definitely problematic. It's definitely repetitious. It doesn't bother me too much when I'm playing personally because, you know, for me, it's just about winning. It's about getting first place, getting all those coins, and, you know, boosting my stats and having fun while I do it. But when I'm showing the game off to other people, I like to have a greater variety of situations pop up. Although this last match was kind of interesting because you did see a lot of Bowsers just back to back, and you could see how having Bowsers at places where they're not supposed to be really makes things chaotic and makes things more stressful, and for me, much more fun. It makes the game very interesting. But yeah, I think that's probably going to do it for us, guys. I don't think we need to do a fourth match. You know, we had 2 first place wins and then 1 second place win, which is pretty solid. Hopefully you guys kind of understand how this works. If you have a Nintendo Switch, I highly recommend playing this before it's taken offline. Yes, it requires the online subscription, but the online subscription is pretty cheap, and you get a lot of other perks with it as well, like NES and Super Nintendo software emulation included for free, and you get some extra bonus games like, you know, Mario 35, which is just really fun. It's super addictive. I'm still playing this on almost a daily basis just because it's fun, and I just have a great time with it. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this Let's Play of the game. I know my speech was probably all over the place, but there's a lot to focus on in this one and talk about as you go through it, because like you saw there in the final match, one little slip up and it's just game over instantly, and so you really have to be focused when you play this and not make, you know, goofy slip ups like that. So but yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions or comments about it, be sure to post them down below. If you guys are new to my channel, definitely consider subscribing. I've got a lot of Let's Plays here and many more to come. For those of you guys already subbed, thank you for your continued support. I hope you guys continue to enjoy getting these videos, and until the next one, take it easy.